Good afternoon, y'all. It's Lippy. We got to get back in the groove. Let me just say, Friday night was probably the best night of my life. Y'all, I've been singing with Elton John since Elton John quit singing to me on Friday night, which I sing with him most days. No, since Friday, all I see Buddy do is go. Y'all, I'm still on cloud 9, but that's in the rearview mirror. Monday morning came, and it was like, I got to get back into the groove. But to bring y'all up to speed, let's see, the last time I talked to y'all was, well, Friday night. I posted the video Saturday, didn't I? Yep, of our Elton John concert. Yesterday morning, we got up, I cooked Sunday breakfast, did the normal, make the bed, tend to the animals, in and out, all of that. Then we emptied 4 freezers, rearranged everything, went through everything. I made a list of what I'm in need of, so now I know what I need to replenish moving forward towards winter. We just have not had the time. It's not that we didn't take the time, we just haven't had the time. Yesterday was that opportunity, and then we went to the dump. I got my laundry soap made, so I'm good for the next 9-10 months, so that got done yesterday. Then I pulled out some whole chickens. I still have, I think, 8 left, but I pulled 3 out. Thawed them, put them in the roaster about 4 this morning. I have 1 on the stove because only 2 of those hens would fit in my roaster. Those have already been cooked, deboned. I got 6 quarts of chicken meat, and it says cooked chicken out of those 2 hens. So I'll probably get 3 or 4 quarts from this one because it's fairly large. And then in the pressure pot, I got 9 pints of chicken broth. So far I've got all of this done, and I had to time supper according to this pressure canner. And I think I'm timing it just right. But this morning, while all that was happening, I cooked Buddy's breakfast. He went to work, and I'm not sure if I've shared this with you ladies, but Mondays, that's my, what I call a full day. That's when I strip beds, I do laundry, I vacuum, I mop, I furniture polish, I do Windexing to all the windows. I did that this morning, done by 8. Went to the Sugar Shack, did some blending, did some orders, came back in, and then I started on the chicken. So it's been very, very productive. I am actually caught up from our trip, and that feels good. But before we get into today's recipe, I don't know if y'all do this, but I always save the wishbones. And what I do is once I pull them out, I put them in a little pot, and I boil them to make sure I get everything off. And I put these in a bag, and I put them in the refrigerator. So when the grandkids come, they get to make a wish. So I'll have the 3rd one, and that'll give all 3 of them a chance to pull it with Pawpaw. They always win. But in case y'all haven't thought about that, grandkids love to do these things. But today's recipe is meatball stew. I'm making enough to where we can have leftovers tomorrow, but I'm going to turn it in probably into like a stroganoff over egg noodles. But today, the meatball stew will be served over rice. I don't know what I'm going to do for the side. I may do a maca corn. It hadn't come to me. You want to know why? My stove's full, but I do have the rice already cooked. So, if I time this right, and I think I have, when I pull that pot off, we could put the pot going for the, what is it again? Meatball stew. I told y'all, I still got the Elton John hangover. I got Rocket Man all up in my head. We're going to go through the ingredients. Not the chicken, y'all. I've got 2 pounds of ground chuck. You're going to need saltine crackers. This is about 4 heaping tablespoons that I've just crushed up with my hands. Worcestershire sauce, some roux, bell pepper, an onion, green onions, an egg, about 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, some Cajun seasoning. Of course, we're going to use my swamp mix. And you need some beef base or just beef broth. And this is all it's going to take to pull this meatball stew together. Oh yeah, I got the bowl set good. Okay, now remember, you season to taste. That is my swamp mix. We're going to go ahead and add our 1 beaten egg. Some Worcestershire, I would guess 2 tablespoons. Some crackers. And our garlic. Look what I forgot. Some onion soup mix. Now I make my own. So let me get a spoon. I'm going to try to measure it because it's... You can use a whole package, but I'm only going to use about 2 tablespoons. I totally forgot. So you could use a whole package, but because I'm using a lot of onion, I'm not going to use a whole package. So that was just 2 tablespoons of onion soup mix. Now this spoon ain't going to work now. My hands are clean. But you got to get in here and get it right. That spoon ain't going to do it. That spoon's for TV. God gave us the best tools in the world. And the reason why I put these crackers in there is to act as a binder so my meatballs don't fall apart. Now, you could use those breadcrumbs, not the season. Oh, I got a fly. Or a panko, but I just always just use saltine crackers, y'all. I don't buy all that other stuff. All right. Now, because it's a because it's a meatball, don't worry about overworking it, okay? You kind of really want to get it together. And I didn't add any salt because between the soup mix, between the swamp mix, and then of course the gravy we're going to be making, I won't need to add any salt. But you can add some salt, you can add more pepper, but this is simple, guys. Okay, now I'm going to get my meatballs going. Let me get me a plate. Okay, now we don't like big old meatballs. And I normally kind of press mine in. So if you look at my hand, that's about the size. Golf ball? No, I don't play golf. I don't know. Yeah, golf ball. That's a Lippy golf ball. Y'all, this fly is just about to drive me nuts. I have chased that thing and chased that thing. And you want your meatballs even, just like that. All right, I got a lot to do, so when I get done with this, I'll bring you back to the next step. We're gonna put a little bit of oil in our pot. Now I'm using my Magnolite pot. I only make my meatball stew in a Magnolite pot. And this one's old. It's about 25 years old. But I'm sitting on about a number 6, or is that between a 6 and a 7, y'all. And I want my oil to get hot. Not piping hot, but hot enough that it'll start searing these meatballs. Because we're only going to brown them. And then we'll take them out. That's what I want, is that sizzle. Now, we're not going to move these but one time. So you got to, because they'll fall apart if you just start playing in there. Let's see if I can, well, I can't move those two. So we're going to see if I can get them all up in here. Now, we're just going to get a browning on the bottom. Because once that meat gets browned, we'll be able to flip it over. But don't move it right now or it'll tear up on you. All right, let's check them. I was able to slide these over. Perfect. See, that's all we want is just a little color. Because we want them to hold together. All right, we're just going to do the same thing, another 3-4 minutes. Now, I did adjust my stove temp to number 5. Okay, I got the meatballs out. And it looks like that pot's burnt. Remember what I told you? That's gratin. That's not burnt. I got about 2 tablespoons of butter in here. That's going to help lift some of this off the bottom. Now we're going to do our 1 bell pepper and onion. Okay, we want to get these sauteed. As they cook, it'll clean that bottom of that pot up. Now I'm sitting on between a 4 and a 5. We're going to let these smother down 5 to 10 minutes. I'll let y'all know. Look at the bottom of this pot. See, this is what I want to show y'all. That's why I don't like turning the camera off. Because sometimes I think people question, you see how clean that pot's getting? And I didn't add no salt to the onions and bell peppers. But that ain't nothing but flavor sitting up in here, y'all. Look. Alright. I'm going to keep stirring the bottom a little bit. Getting all that goodie off. And then we'll move to the next step. Okay, I'll let them go about 8 minutes. See? They tender. But they're not cooked to death. Now, you remember my roux that I said we were going to use? You can buy it in a jar. I make my own. I'll link this roux recipe so you can always keep it in your refrigerator handy. But this is about, if I was guessing, about 1/4 of a cup. And we're going to get this good and incorporated now. You want this roux to break down. Good. Now I'm fixing to blow your mind. A pinch of sugar. Now I'm in a pinch. Because you're not going to taste the sweet. But it takes the bitter out. Okay, now we're coming in with our, what is that? I mixed up about 2 cups of beef broth. And we may have to add some water as it's cooking. We're going to get it stirred up and I'm going to see. Because it's going to be a thick gravy. But this is going to end up cooking an hour and a half. So throughout, when you come in and you kind of lightly stir it and look at it, you may have to add a little bit of water. All right, I'm going to add a little bit more of my Cajun seasoning. About like that. We're going to put our meatballs in here. Let's turn our fire up to about a number 8. Because we want to get a boil going. Okay, our meatballs are in there. Now I'm fixing to get all this flavor off this plate. I don't miss nothing. Alright, we're going to bring this up to a boil. Then we're going to put a lid on it and turn it down to simmer. Hour and a half. That's where we want it. Because what's that going to do is, that's going to make that roux stay thin. Yep, I don't see any roux pieces. You'll know. Okay. Now we're going to turn it down to a simmer. It's about a number 2. And walk away. Y'all know what this means? This means I got a chicken to debone. And then I'm going to sit down with a cup of coffee. It is 4:25. We always eat by 6. I would say that was perfect timing. An hour and a half, that's 6 p.m. Makashu will be done. Rice is done. The other chicken deboned. Now the broth, I will be putting in a jar and I will be freezing because I'm going to be using that broth and not what I've canned. I'm going to use it for this Thanksgiving. So, and that way the ones that I did do can sit on the shelf. And I'm going to need every bit of that broth. So, all right, I'll bring y'all back in an hour and a half. Just make sure you come in and out and stir it. And then when we're getting down to that last 10 minutes, vent your lid and allow the gravy to thicken to your liking. We like ours to reduce to a thick, rich gravy. So that's going to actually be up to you. Now, y'all want to come help me debone the chicken? We're at the last 15 minutes, and that's when I'm going to come in with my 3 green onions. Y'all, look at this. Oh, my word. Now, let me show you. This is how we like our gravy. Okay, we're going to put the lid on. We about to plate up. I want y'all to look down at that meatball and that rich gravy. There's some makashu. Got me a couple of pickled beets. But that's the star of the show right there. It's taste test. Now that's smoking. But y'all see that? Look at the inside of that meat, would you? Now that is what we call meatball stew in Louisiana. And that is, ooh, I'm going to have to break that bite down, y'all. Yeah, that's a little too hot for me. I'm going to have to break it down. Okay, here we go. I'm glad that didn't get on my dress. Y'all, this is not a fancy meal. But in Louisiana, most households know what meatball stew is. It's a flavor that I can't explain. You just got to cook it. And we're going to try that rice. See how that gravy's thick? And that gravy sits on that rice? Y'all, I knocked it out the ballpark. You hear me? Oh, I ain't had it in a while. So as always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless. Wonder what we're going to get into tomorrow. Might be some more of this.